Modern pop culture has trained us to view the zombie through a very specific science fiction lens. We expect viral outbreaks, hordes of sprinting ghouls, and desperate survivors navigating abandoned post-apocalyptic cities. But the cinematic origin of The Walking Dead features absolutely none of those things. The very first feature-length zombie film bypasses bodily harm and scientific plagues entirely. To find it, we have to travel back to 1932, deep into the shadows of pre-code Hollywood. A low-budget independent production called White Zombie, filmed for roughly $50,000, arrived before the established rules of horror even existed. In this earliest iteration, the undead aren't flesh-eating predators hunting the living. They are the prey. The central terror of White Zombie involved no threat of being eaten or infected. The horror lay in the complete, permanent theft of human free will. While major studios like Universal were mining established European Gothic literature for hits like Dracula and Frankenstein, director Victor Halperin and his brother Edward looked elsewhere. They turned their attention toward real-world folklore. They drew inspiration from William Seabrook's 1929 book, The Magic Island, introducing Western audiences to Haitian traditions and the reanimated corpse. Operating entirely outside the major studio system, the Halperin brothers employed serious ingenuity. They rented space on the Universal backlot and repurposed leftover sets from Dracula and Frankenstein to cobble together their eerie tropical world. To hide their severe financial constraints, Victor Halperin leaned heavily on German expressionism. The film utilizes harsh chiaroscuro lighting, allowing deep, ink-black shadows to mask the cheap sets while clashing violently with pale, ghostly whites. To anchor this untested genre, they cast the legendary Bela Lugosi, fresh off his massive stardom as Count Dracula. Here, he plays the sinister Murder Legendre, a shadowy voodoo master ruling a remote Haitian plantation. He doesn't rely on physical strength to conquer victims. Instead, he uses pure hypnotic willpower, commanding obedience through his unforgettable, piercing stare. By drawing innocent people into his web of living death to satisfy petty jealousies, he proves the monsters carrying out terrible deeds are secondary. The human puppet master controlling the strings is the real villain. The creatures he controls are entirely blank slates. They have been stripped of their souls, their identity, and their agency, condemned to a life of eternal, silent labor. We see this most clearly in the film's most chilling sequence. Deep inside a cavernous sugar mill, Legendre's zombies work mechanically, turning a massive grinding wheel in a slow, rhythmic loop. They do not speak, and they do not sleep. When one of their own accidentally loses his footing and plummets into the grinding machinery below, the others show absolute indifference, continuing their circular march without breaking stride. This sequence, like the rest of the film, feels completely alien compared to modern horror conventions. There is no traditional musical score telling the audience how to feel. Instead, the audio design relies on an incredibly sparse, unsettling soundscape. The scenes are punctuated only by the repetitive groans of creaking wagon wheels, distant voodoo drumming, and long stretches of dead silence. These deliberate aesthetic choices pull away the safety net of conventional narrative. You aren't watching a traditional story unfold. You are trapped inside a dark, disorienting fever dream. The haunting image of dead men working tirelessly served as a direct reflection of the historical reality surrounding the theaters where the film played in 1932. Audiences connected with this imagery deeply because it perfectly mirrored the severe economic anxieties of the long before the undead represented sprawling, apocalyptic societal collapse. They served a much more personal purpose. The original cinematic zombie was an intimate, poetic exploration of the fragile nature of the human mind. This was brought to you by Stalls or Circle. Thank you for listening.